As you know, I've been very pro-Israel's right to eliminate Hamas on this show. I've been really trying to see the other side of things this week. Nobody likes seeing people get killed. Too many people have been killed. I'm not going to do the usual thing and say women and children, because men and adults matter too. And soldiers matter. They bleed like civilians. All lives matter. But I just can't get into the pro-Palestine arguments. Never mind that the entire thing has been infiltrated and corrupted by the left-wing activists in the West, like they always do, getting their grubby little fingers on every issue, every cause, desperate for their glorious revolution to happen. Nope, even if I try really hard to filter out the left-wing nonsense, I still can't seem to find a path to supporting a ceasefire, because I can't find an answer to three big questions. The first question is, what is Israel supposed to do about a neighbour that wants it wiped off the face of the earth and has said so repeatedly over the years? Secondly, if we want the killing to end and we don't want the invasion of Rafah to happen next week, why isn't Hamas surrendered fully? Why hasn't Hamas surrendered fully? Why haven't they come out from hiding behind the refugees and the civilians in Rafah? Why haven't the Hamas leaders that are hiding in plain sight in Qatar been handed over? And why haven't all the hostages been released? And thirdly, why hasn't the Muslim world come to the aid of the Palestinians that they claim to care for so very much? Why hasn't Egypt opened the border for their Muslim brothers to allow a safer, more hygienic refugee camp to be built? Why haven't the richer Gulf states decided, like Australia has, to take a few thousand Gazan refugees each, or flood money into Egypt to enable it to help? These are the questions I can't get past. I'm stuck where US Senator and former presidential candidate Marco Rubio was late last year when he was confronted outside his office by a ceasefire advocate in this now famous social media video clip.
Senator Rubio, will you call for ceasefire?
No, I will not.
Gaza?
On the contrary.
Senator Rubio,
Are you filming it?
Wait,
I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
Horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
You see, we can't keep blaming Israel for the tragedy of Gaza. Hamas is to blame. And we can't expect Israel to play humanitarian aid agency to their enemy during a war. The Arab world is responsible for that. Israel has to focus on one thing: protecting its nation and its people, and ensuring an attack with the vile intent of October 7 can never happen again. Not just to Israel, but to any of us, because it could happen anywhere. They simply must eliminate Hamas for good. They cannot, after October 7, leave one single Hamas warrior alive. The horror of the events of that day lies in the fact that it was firstly so well planned, so long in the planning, that it was a full-scale terror military operation by air, land and sea that criminally and deliberately targeted civilians, breaking every rule of war, an horrific act of war crime. And the intent is what matters. And the intent was to kill civilians. And not just kill them, but to do so in such a gruesome and deliberately brutal way so as to terrorize everybody. October 7 was the end of Hamas. It had to be, and it has to be. And they know that, and they knew that. The entire world must ensure the message is sent. Such acts will never get you what you want, or even part of it. On the contrary, they will see you eliminated, and your people will suffer as a result. Once Israel has wiped out Hamas, they've then got to work to contain or eliminate their equally evil terrorist cousins, Hezbollah, in southern Lebanon. In the meantime, let's pray that Hamas and the wider Arab world see to it that the innocent civilians of Gaza are saved, because it's in their hands and it's their responsibility. It's not Israel's and it's not the West's.